Okay, this is homework 225. I'd like you to copy all this work and then, of course, the words for full credit to show me that you listen. All right, I'm going to have you do a system of inequalities and then a transformation problem where I give you after a couple moves and I want you to tell me a combination of two moves to get to that. So here we go. To graphing. When you are doing graphing inequalities, you have to make sure these are both solved for y. You need to get y all by itself. So what I'm going to do here is do the math, solving both of these for y, and then we'll get ready to graph. So to solve that first one for y, the opposite, I'm going to take away 2x on both sides. Those will cancel away. And this one in red I'm going to do is y more than negative 2x plus 3. If I was to graph that, that would be a solid point on solid 3. And then my slope, that number in front of x, which tells me where to go, is over 1, down 2, right 1, down 2. I'm getting that from the negative 2 over 1 number. Right 1 for the positive 1, down 2 for the negative 2. That line, because of that inequality being that way, more than, shade above, and because that inequality is missing the equal line under it, it's going to be more than or equal to with a dotted line. So I could show my dotted line pretty easy on here. It might be a little bit harder for you to show your dotted line. And then of course this is more than, so I'm going to shade just a little bit above. First word is whale, whale. All right, this one in blue. Take away 4x on both sides, minus 4x, minus 4x. Make sure you bring down this negative with the 2y. Don't bring down positive 2y. And that's negative 4x plus 6. Right here is the dreaded divide by a negative 2. Or remember, if you divide one of these inequalities by a negative number, that inequality is going to rotate around. It's not going to be more than anymore. It's going to be less than or equal to. And then negative 4 over 2, positive 2x. 6 over negative 2, negative 3. So if I was to graph that, negative 3 over 1 up 2, because this one has a positive 2 over 1 slope, over 1 up 2, over 1 up 2, over 1 up 2. This is a solid line because of that inequality. My inequality looks like it is the less than or equal to direction. Let's make this line a little longer. So less than or equal to is going to shade a little bit below. I want you to just shade a little bit until you could clearly see the shaded zone and then fill that in. And then of course the dreaded pick a point in that solution zone and check it. The point I'm going to choose is this one right here, which is the coordinate 3 for x, 0 for y. Some of those are kind of dicey for some of you. You might not want to pick an x-axis number, but that is 3, 0, not 0, 3. So if I'm doing my check, that's me taking the 3 right here and then the 0 right here, or I could of course plug in the 0 right here and the 3 right here into the rearranged form. I'm just going to use the original forms for my check to plug into the original. So that means my first check, 2 from that red equation originally, 2x, plug in 3 for x right there, plus that 0 for y, should give you a true statement, something bigger than 3. That gives me 6 plus 0, which for sure, 6 is more than 3. That is true. When I plug in that x and y number into the other equation, inequality, that one should work as well. Again, I'm using the original because sometimes the rearranged one a little bit harder. So that gives me 12 more than or equal to 6. That is true. So again, be able to solve a system of inequalities by graphing it and be able to check a solution point. You cannot pick any points along this line. That's a no-go, no zone. All right, second word is surf. Surf. All right, last problem, last word, where I give you it already moved, and you have to tell me what the two transformations are. So here we go. Knowing that this is where it all started, the pre-image. This one right here is really the triangle after two separate moves. So really this would be like triangle number 3. I need to find out while I'm doing this where maybe triangle 2 was before I move it to triangle 3. So again, know that it's starting here at XYZ, it's going up to X double prime, Y double prime. When I'm doing these, the best bet, I'm telling you on these mystery ones, always either reflect over the y-axis and then just see what you got to try to get up there. Or, of course, you could, if you choose, to reflect over the x-axis first and see what you get. Reflect over that. Let's see, that should be something like this. And then that looks like, oh man, that's probably not going to help me too much. So again, always start by picking an X or Y axis for you to flip over. I'm telling you, go for the flip, the reflect first. Either reflect over the X axis or reflect over the Y axis first, and then see what you got. See what you got. So here we go. I'm going to first take this problem here. I'll pause this. Okay, so about that delay, back to this problem here. But again, always look, flip over the x-axis first, which means always equal distance. Look and see if I do my reflection 2 above, 2 below, 4 above, 4 below, 2 above, 2 below. Do like an initial reflection first and then see. Would it be easy from there then to get to here? Probably not. So backtrack. Don't start by reflecting over the x-axis. How about start by reflecting over this y-axis instead first? Reflect over an x or y-axis first and see what you got and go from there. So for this one, if I reflect equal distance over the y-axis, my triangle, if I do that correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, should look something like this. After one movement, flipping over the y-axis, and I could see, yep, if I do that, that's getting pretty close to what I need to do now. Now, it looks like all I have to do is chart out this slide right here for my translate, and that looks like it's going over to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, charting that movement from Z to my other Z, it's going to be going to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then going up, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that looks like what my transformations were. Here we go. First, reflect over the y-axis. When I reflected over the x-axis, didn't get me much, but when I reflect over the y-axis was close. Then translate, and it looks like I went right 4, and then up 8. That was my translation. Right 4, up 8. That's what it took to get from that pre-image across that y-axis and then slid up here in a motion again, following this arrow. Right 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, whoops, following that pattern. Let's draw the real vector arrow right there. There it is. All right, the third word is vector. Vector is the third word. All right, good luck. See you on Monday.